Stopping traffic. Sips the big thrills. Yeah, you know you can't be mad at it.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is a special episode.
Yes, we have our first guest.
Our first guest.
Yay.
So Liana's here. Liana's one of my friends, and she is a licensed therapist. Mm-hmm. And she's here
To take care of me.
She's here to psychoanalyze Natalie because God knows she needs it.
Oh, God.
Liana, welcome. Thank you for being
Yes,
here.
thanks for coming. I'm so excited.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited for this.
And you have your own podcast.
Yes, I do. It's called Let's Be Honest, where I talk about, as a licensed therapist, talk about pop culture and listener questions. So it's a little bit of both.
I love that. I listen to it. It's very good. It's very.
Send it to me, yes.
I saw listened to one of the episodes, which is the basis for this episode that we're doing. And we will get into that. It's a good one. It's a juicy topic that we all can relate to. But first, we're going to make a drink. As we do.
As we do.
So we're going to do a mocktail today because everybody needs a break once in a while.
Yeah.
I had a very eventful weekend with a lot of drinking, so I needed a moment.
My liver got beat up from all the day and NyQuil that I took.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
yeah,
you need to take it easy anyway. Okay. So we're making a spicy Paloma mocktail.
Ooh. Virgin. Yep.
A virgin Paloma, yep. So for this drink, you are going to need grapefruit juice, agave, lime, and then you could just leave it at that. So a little bit of seltzer. But I'm going to add some jalapenos because I want to give this a little bit of a kick, if you will.
I might opt out of the jalapeno.
Well, I'm making them all together, Natalie, so you have
Shit.
to.
Okay.
A little bit
I
of
hope
spice.
it's not too many seeds in there. The seeds
No.
are what make it spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a tiny
All
bit.
right,
I'll put
because
a little bit in.
pussy.
You don't like spicy things?
No.
Really?
Like, hate
why did I
that.
pin you down as someone who likes spicy things?
I want to. I always try to like something spicy, but then I start sweating.
Really?
Yeah.
You're that bad? What about you, Liana? Same thing?
I like spicy, but
Okay.
if it's too hot to eat or drink,
Yeah.
it's not even fun for me.
when you don't have the flavor anymore.
Yes.
When it's just the heat and that's all it's the pain and there's no
yeah,
flavor.
it's not
Okay.
enjoyable anymore.
I wish
fair.
I liked spicy more,
See, I love
but I
spicy things.
just
Like I'll eat something and go
Oof.
yeah.
and love it and want more of it. It's addicting.
I feel like all of my friends are into spicy, so I
Are
try
they?
to we're getting hot wings, okay, and then I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, so just a little kick. I'll only put one sliver of jalapeno in
All right.
there.
I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but
Can you grab me the muddler, please?
sure can.
All right. All right, so you're going to start by muddling your jalapeno in the agave and the lime juice. So it's 2 ounces of agave. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Ooh, Liana, can you tell we don't rehearse any of this?
I love it, though. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, all right. I think that should be enough. Muddle your jalapeno. Oh, this is very agave.
You could throw another jalapeno in.
Yeah?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I feel like
Okay.
that would really simmer out
Okay.
the spice. I thought it was just gonna be a little splash of
Splash
agave.
of agave. No, this
And
is
then
a
I was
lot of agave.
nervous.
Because there's no alcohol in this, so
How to make it fun somehow.
gotta make it fun somehow. So for one drink, it's 1 whole lime squeezed. So I already measured out 3
Look at you.
3 limes just so we could pour it all in there.
I love some
It's
fresh
a lot of lime juice. All right. 2 ounces also of grapefruit juice. 1, 2, 3, 4, the whole rest.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I think this is 2 and that's 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then some good old-fashioned
Good old-fashioned
bubbles.
bubbles. Right, well, we're going to shake this first. Gently, because there's a lot of liquid in here. All right. And then strain it over fresh ice. You can double strain it if you don't want the seeds, like if you really don't want the seeds, but
Pretty.
all right. And top it off with some seltzer.
Love seltzer.
It's real bubbly today. Real bubbly.
This is a pretty drink.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
It's giving like Beverly Hills housewife vibes. Right?
Do you watch Beverly Hills?
No.
Ah,
No,
But
but
I
I feel like someone would be sitting by the pool
Yes.
drinking this.
All right, I'm just gonna top you off with a
Oh, how pretty.
love the
jalapeno.
garnish.
No seeds for you, Natalie.
Thank you so much. You're too good to me.
All right.
Beautiful.
And here are our mocktail.
Wow.
Spicy.
This looks
Ooh,
nice.
I'm very excited. I've never had one before.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Thanks for being on, Liana.
Thanks for having me.
That's
Ooh,
good.
Wow.
That is really good.
I never know how I'm going to feel with the spicy, but very good.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it's very subtle.
Yes.
Yeah, it has
If
like
anything,
the
really.
flavor, but not the spice.
Yeah. So
So
there's
it's
a
good.
lot of, like I said, agave in here and a lot of grapefruit juice. Should you be making an alcoholic version, you'd probably just use that and then substitute those amounts for usually like a reposado tequila is what you would use in a Paloma over like a silver or something like that. So yeah.
That's good.
right.
Yeah, very good.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yes, welcome.
So what are we talking about today? 'Cause of this-
Infidelity.
Yeah. Say it again. What was that?
Infidelity.
Oh,
Take a deep breath, Natalie.
Uh-oh.
trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Well, infidelity, I feel like, is something that's just so relatable. Like, whether you're on any end of it, even if you've experienced it to like the full extent or like a little bit of it, I feel like it's something everybody has an opinion on.
Right.
Everybody has a story about. And there's a lot of different types, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into all the different types.
I'm hyped.
Because I didn't know this. When I had first seen it on Leon on your podcast, I was telling Natalie about it, and I was like, there's like 7 different types. And then
Right.
I went on, and I was like,
Oh, wait.
there's 11.
Yeah.
Why is
11.
there so
Yeah.
many?
Yeah.
11 different types. So,
All right,
I have
let's
a
get
little
into
cheat
it.
sheet because,
Yeah,
you know.
perfect. We love it.
So, there are those who are avoiding conflict about or the intimacy involved in discussing what they want sexually. So, if let's say 2 people aren't going to be talking about what they want sexually, and let's
Okay.
say they avoid the conversation, those who have a one-time affair based on being under the influence of drugs or alcohol, we hear those all the time.
So these are 2 different types.
Two
So the
different
first one
types.
is you cheat because you
You're
don't
not pleased.
speak about what you want from the person.
Right.
Okay, I feel like you've definitely heard that before.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the spark died out or whatever.
And
And
then
you
the
feel weird
second-
talking about it, so you
Yeah.
just go and look for that. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, that's always important, I feel like, to be honest and open about what you want from your partner. It says sexually, that's the first one. You don't talk about what you want sexually or just needs in general.
I kind of see, I think intimacy sexually, yes, but intimacy also emotionally.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is how easy it is now to go hop on an app when their needs aren't
Yeah.
being met.
Right,
It's
yeah.
almost like it's too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy. Right. Right. Okay. And then the second one is being under the influence.
Yes, and it's like a one-time thing, right?
Okay.
We've heard that. Oh, I was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gets so difficult.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
is your feeling on that? It's case dependent, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
case by case basis. I mean, if I was the partner that got cheated on, I know for me, I'd be scared to have them go out. But then
Right.
I don't want to control my partner.
Yeah.
Right.
So do I want to, again, it goes into like a commitment of working on the relationship. Do I want to commit to working on this and increasing my trust again?
Yeah. Do you think it's a possible thing to have it be a one time somebody goes out and gets too drunk and cheats and it doesn't repeat itself in the relationship?
Oh, yeah, completely. I think so for sure. I think that both partners have to be honest about the process of regaining the trust, meaning like the person who did cheat has to be really honest and patient for the other partner to kind of gain that trust again for them.
Yeah.
That we can't kind of write it off and be like, well, it was a one-time thing, right? Like I was just fucked up. It's like, but it still happened. Like I don't even use that as part of the equation. Like it still happens.
Right, right. And there's always, I feel like, another reason, another issue,
Yes.
right? That happens. This isn't just, you go out, you drink all the time.
Right.
So why was this time different?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone goes out and drinks and gets fucked
Yeah.
up. Not
Right.
everyone, but you know what I mean. But not everyone cheats.
Right. Okay, fair, right. Okay, so what's our third one?
So our next one is if a lot of times, so we see this with narcissistic personality disorder or a few other personality disorders where they almost do it as a way to score, or they almost, a lot of times we'll see it in like sexual addiction.
Okay.
Where it's like a game and they don't even have that empathy to understand like this is not what you do in a relationship, a monogamous relationship.
That's the tough one.
That's a tough
That's
one.
a hard pill to swallow there.
That's a really hard pill to swallow.
Ooh.
How are you in a relationship with that person?
Yeah. Just,
Well, you probably overlooked a lot of red flags.
Oh, all right. Fuck.
yeah.
We're already
Shit.
That's a
too far
whole
gone.
other topic
yeah.
now.
Shit.
Yeah, we're too far gone. No, we're not too far gone, but we've probably undergone a lot of manipulation, a lot of gaslighting.
Right. So people who want to like another notch in their belt, like it's that narcissistic, just
Yes.
to prove to themselves that they can do it, and they do it.
Yes.
Right.
And lacking the empathy.
Right.
For
to
the other
understand. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, this is a good one. So the next one is, let's say if, and I see this a lot with like younger, not just younger, but a lot of times with like younger clients I work with, where if let's say one partner cheats, it's now, well, I deserve to do it back. And it becomes this like, you know, I can't think of the word, but kind of like this payback
Right.
for the
Right.
other person cheating.
Revenge.
Revenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Revenge cheating.
Revenge cheating.
I don't think I have that in me. You know?
Either. It
Yeah,
takes a lot of
no.
energy.
No.
It's just not worth it at that point, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what kind of mess of a relationship is that? Once the first person cheats, now so things are already muddy and messy, but then you go do it too. And now
Yeah.
you've just broken down both walls of trust. And now you're in rubble. Where do you go from
Now
there?
what? Right.
Now what? Right.
Why are you even in this relationship anymore?
Right. Huh. Okay.
Let's see. A lot of times, so I've seen this a lot with friends too, where let's say one person wants out of the relationship and they don't know how to get out of it. And they purposefully go and do something with someone else, almost to purposefully get caught.
Oh.
Or not even if they purposefully get caught, but it's like
They're checked out.
they're checked out.
Yeah.
And like they may not know how to end the relationship, so they kind of like do that to see if maybe that will end the relationship, or
Yeah.
because they're just so checked out that it's like
That'll
end
fuck you
anyway.
up even more, though.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel.
like
I like it's definitely hard, I feel like, to end relationships, especially if you care about the person and you feel bad and you have to go, you have to end it, but it's hard to like say those words and do that to the person because you don't want to hurt them.
right.
But to cheat then on top of that, to like because you're so checked out or to get caught, I feel like it's just like so many more layers of like uncomfortableness you could have avoided if you had just
Right.
said like, this is how I feel and like this is what I want and don't want anymore.
I don't know if this would be a separate one. I don't know if I'm going to jump ahead, but I feel like sometimes people cheat because they think that they're checked out or they think that there might be something out there
Better.
that's better. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, that didn't do it for me. Like, let me just test the waters a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, fuck, no. Why did I do that?
What did
type
I
of
just
thing.
watched something recently. I literally think it was this morning, and I think it was Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom.
Yeah.
I follow her Instagram. She posted something about it. I believe it was her, and it was like the 90-10 rule or like the 80-20 rule or something like that. And like you're with someone and they have 80 or 90% of the things that you're looking for in a person, right? And then, but they don't have that 10% or 20%. And then you meet somebody randomly somewhere and they have that little bit. So you leave that person, you cheat with that person, you move on to that person, but then you realize that person only had the 10, 20% and is missing everything else.
Yeah.
That's why they always come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
So
always come
true.
back.
Aw.
Oh.
That's like so sad. It's sad for everyone involved.
It's sad for
honestly.
everybody
Yeah.
involved.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it kind of goes along with the discussion of obviously that person's needs weren't completely being met. And so therefore there's this lack of communication of, hey, my needs aren't being met in this way, instead of going out and trying to find someone else to fulfill that
Right.
10%.
Right. Rather than just talking about it and communicating about it.
Right.
Yeah. Which I feel like is also sometimes hard to do.
Oh, 110%.
You know, to tell
very
somebody
hard.
this is what I need and you're not doing it.
And you're not it.
Yeah.
And you're not it.
So I'm going to cheat.
Change or I'm cheating.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
All right, let's see what's next. Oh, this is a big one with online affairs. And we were just talking about the apps and how it's almost too easy.
Right.
That a lot of times there can be texting, video chatting. Now we have all the apps, and then even Snapchat where things obviously go away. And it's just, if it's not even physical, that people don't even meet up, but also the emotional cheating, right? Like,
Oh, I count that.
yeah,
totally.
110%.
Yeah.
Definitely count that as emotional cheating.
Yeah.
Or even physical cheating if they're like sexting or something like that.
Yes.
Totally. You know, that goes along with it. But that's so interesting because it brings up such a different point of like there's different layers of cheating and like what people consider. And the thing is, and I want to like make this super clear too, is that like we're a very non-judgmental podcast, but like everybody has their own like versions of what they think is acceptable. Is not. Everyone has their own relationship, and like things are not black and white. Like, and don't let anybody tell you that like this happened and you need to be done or you need to whatever. Like things are so gray in so many areas, especially with like all the social media stuff these days, and like what's too far and what is like acceptable for you to be able to get over. Like, what am I going to be able to get over in this relationship versus like what I'm not. You know, and that's okay. It could be like the smallest thing, and you could be like, I'm done. I know I'm not going to get over this, and that's just not for me, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Everyone is totally different. Like, I feel like a lot of my guy friends will say that unless it's like physically being acted on, it's not cheating. And I'll be over here like, no, I wouldn't be able to get over that. What you guys fucking do.
Yeah.
You asshole.
You pigs.
Yeah.
You pigs.
For real.
Totally.
But it's true. Like, but some girls could. Some girls probably think of it as the same thing. It's not that serious.
And then, I mean, we're just talking about it in like a dating. I mean, Liana, you're married, but like now you're married. Yeah. And now you have children, and there's so many other
layers,
you know? Yeah.
It makes it so sad. It's like if you can break up with someone, you don't have it. It's like you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's the thing I say to a lot of my clients that go through these conflicts and chaos within the relationships. It's like, you don't have to deal with this. Like, I'm just letting you know.
So what is your like the first thing you'll say to like somebody who comes to you, a client of yours, like that they're going through an infidelity?
So I would encourage them, and this has happened where I would encourage the couple to go to therapy as for couples therapy, and I would encourage both partners to have their own individual therapist.
Okay. Not the same one.
No, not the same one. That would be a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Because if, let's say, I know something about you, and then I also know, like you told me, oh yeah, I actually did cheat on her more than once, and then you don't know that.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck in this really awkward place.
Yeah.
So I would encourage everyone to go to their own therapy. And I also give a disclaimer like, hey, this is going to be really hard. Like, there's going to have to be a lot of ups and downs. And there are going to be days that you hate that your partner. And then there are going to be days that you're having a great day. So it's almost like letting them know this is going to take a lot of work on both ends.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which infidelity do you think you see the most nowadays?
Actually, recently there was a case with the online dating. And then I also saw a lot of like the getting back with the exes, right? Like they're kind of lingering. I was talking about this in a podcast I recorded yesterday, and it was like the lurking, where they're kind of like lurking in the background, and then they come in out of nowhere, and it's almost like convenient. So a lot of like the people that maybe they're already familiar with.
Right. So people like their exes that they're cheating with, or they have like they cross the line in some kind of inappropriate way with. Right. And is that, I guess, because they're comfortable and they don't have to work hard to get that because they're already an ex of theirs and they already have that rapport, they already have that history, and it's not like a lot of work. It's comfortable to slip back into something like that.
Yeah, I think so, because if you think about it, and I've heard this with even friends, where like if you check out a person's Instagram and you see, oh, they have a partner, they're married, I'm not going to talk to this person.
Right.
So if they see that, hopefully no one's going to go in for that.
Yeah.
Where maybe the ex-partner is like, whatever.
Exes be creeping.
Yeah.
Exes really be creeping.
Yeah.
Damn. What do you think is the hardest to get over? What infidelity is the hardest to be like, okay, this is going to be a lot of work, but like,
Yeah, I've heard the emotional side of it. I mean, I think all sides of it is
Not even the
hard.
physical.
I mean, I think maybe for their own certain reasons, right? Like, I feel like some people would say, well, if it's a one-time thing, it's a one-time thing. They don't even know each other. Who cares? Not who
Right.
cares, but it's less of a painful experience.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone is like, they have their own inside jokes with someone else and it's more emotional, that would totally hurt more for me personally.
Yeah.
Me too.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Because like let's be honest, Megan Fox is a babe. She's coming up and she's whispering sweet nothings in your ear and you're wasted. Like, could you totally blame a man for giving into that? Yes, but
Yes,
it would hurt
right.
less than it would.
Also, I mean, guy-wise, they could, you know, all they need is something with a hole, and they could get off. You know, it's like, especially
Yes.
like sexual, it's such a more emotional component for women.
Yes.
We talk about that in one of our episodes recently. So, like, yeah, that would suck. The more
Yeah.
emotional part of it, because that's like,
And that's also the bond you have with your partner,
I was
right?
gonna say, yeah, that's something I have to like really give to you.
Right.
Like, you know,
I
your
have
body
to-
sometimes is easier to give up. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
than emotionally,
100%,
mentally.
I think.
Right.
To really like get deep with someone and to, you know, share that kind of connection. I have to ask
Yeah.
the grueling question of who cheats more, men or women, that you
Oh.
deal with.
Oh, there's actually a fact about that.
Ooh,
I need to know.
facts.
So the first thing is that affairs actually happen in 1/4 to 1/3 of committed relationships, which is like scary.
That's a lot.
I know.
Oh, take a sip.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no alcohol in this.
Shit.
So there used to be a difference, and now we know that largely it's due to opportunities. So women are actually on track to initiate affairs as often as men.
Wow.
Yes, I know.
Wow.
The women is more.
The ladies are catching up.
The ladies are catching up.
The ladies, yeah.
Shit.
So like the woman is more like who's in a relationship herself is more like the one
Yes.
to initiate that.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Which I've heard. I was listening to a podcast where they were saying how there are so many women out there who, I mean, just like are doing things out on their husbands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like, where are they? I don't know that.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me because I watch so many Lifetime movies and you know, it's always there's bitches are crazy.
Bitches
Yes.
are crazy.
Bitches are crazy.
And I feel like, I mean, what do I really know? But I feel like women are harder to crack than men. Like, I think that a woman could probably hide it better than a man could.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel if you had an inkling about the guy that you were, you know, with, whether you're married or just dating or whatever, I feel like a woman could really do some hard research and or just like get him to crack under pressure. Whereas I don't know that a man would be like,
To crack a woman.
yeah,
And to
to
start
have
the
enough
affair.
of an instinct and then to be like sharp enough. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like women are more sly. Honestly,
I was
do.
thinking the same thing.
You know, like I mean,
Yeah.
I know I'm totally like stereotyping here, which I shouldn't be doing, but I'm
okay.
just speaking off of like my personal
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I feel like women could probably just get away with it better.
Yeah, and I'm speaking from my Lifetime movies, and they are more conniving, the women, and they
Yeah.
start the affair, and they always have an agenda, too, and they're very, you know, skilled, if you will.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, how often do you hear stories that it's like, I just opened his phone and went to a text message? Like,
Right. Yeah. Do you ever think that there's something you can't come back from?
you know what, I find that a lot of times it has to do with the person who got cheated on. It has to do if that person has a long time history of can't trust people or inability to trust people or even trauma. And I've seen this, that also takes that internal work for that person. But it's a matter of like, can that person be resilient enough to work on that individual stuff and work alongside their partner? So again, it kind of goes back to the idea of how much work it actually takes.
Yeah.
I think you can come back from anything. I just think you
Yeah.
got to be really committed and also know when it's crossing a line, right? Like if we go back to one of those things where it was like the person lacks empathy, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, if there are red flags and they're gaslighting you or saying it's not a big deal or minimizing it, right? Like what's going on there?
Right.
You know, so always keeping those red flags in mind. That you want to see accountability, you want to see remorse, and you want to see someone trying to improve on the relationship.
Yeah. I feel too like it's always the person who got cheated on that it's so much more work for them to fix the relationship and to get over it, which is so not fair because it's like,
Yeah.
you didn't cause it. I didn't do this. You did this. But now, like, the burden and the work is really on. There's only so much you can do in a day in, day out basis, but I am the one who really has to get over it. And, like, I have to do all of the work to get over it. And I didn't do this. I didn't cause this. You know, it's always, I feel like, it's a shit end of the stick. Like, you get cheated on,
really
and then
is.
you have to do all the work.
Right.
Do you feel, because I feel like this, it relates to the topic that we're talking about, but I feel like it just relates to forgiveness in general. I feel like a lot of people like think forgiveness is like black and white. Like if you choose to forgive somebody for anything, even if Sarah canceled on plans that we made and I'm pissed off about it, but like I choose to forgive her, like should I never bring it up again that bothered me? And like, because I chose to forgive her, let's keep it moving. Or no, if it pops into my mind one day and it affects whatever.
Yeah, when
Like,
do you
like,
have to
are
stop?
You allowed, right.
Yeah.
Like, are you allowed to keep bringing it up, or do you have to just leave the past in the past? Like, what do you think works best?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So it's kind of twofold, where on one end, the partner who cheated has to know, like, that, like, they're kind of in the doghouse, meaning,
Right.
like, if their partner is really upset one day and they're going to keep bringing this up, like, this is the healing process. But with that, if the partner, let's say, says, you know what, I'm not going to bring this up. I'm okay. Like, I feel like we worked through a lot, and you bring it up, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Right? Like, was it out of rage? Was it out of something that you're still holding on to?
Yeah.
Right? So it can lead into more clues of, like, something that might be going on for that person. But I think for a little bit, like, you can, I mean, it's part of that process of, like, the two people working together for a long period of time. I would suggest with a couples therapist to heal that damage that was done, where it is going to be brought up. But also, why are you bringing it up? I think it goes into the motives or the intentions.
And then at some point, it's not fair to the person who was the cheater to keep getting beat down on and beat down on and beat down on, you know, if there's no progress.
Right.
You know, at some point, like I said, there's only so much that person can do. It's really the other person that has to, like, get over it.
Yeah.
Per se, which sounds harsh, but you know what I mean? And, like,
Yeah.
to keep bringing it up is to keep, you know, doing more harm at some point than good. But then at the same time, like, it is healthy to talk about it. If I feel a certain way, like, should be able to say something, you know, to get it off my chest. But I guess, yeah, it's really like that's a hard one. That's a tricky one.
It's tough.
It is.
Yeah. When do you have to really just let it go?
Well, that's also a good point, where it's like, if you're bringing it up and saying, I saw this thing today and it reminded me of it and I felt upset and I'm communicating with you about it.
That's different.
It's different than
Okay.
being like, yo, you motherfucker, you
Yeah.
cheated on
Yeah.
me. Like,
You wake up in the middle of the night and you go, fuck you for that. I remember what you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So it has
I know
to
some
be,
people
like,
who definitely, like, the cheater is like, you do everything that you possibly can.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where, like, you can't be punished for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? And then when does that become unhealthy?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Both people have to. It's a lot about, like, finding a new relationship, really. Like, that chapter of your relationship is over. And so we're both trying to almost create a whole new relationship, whether it be, like, new date night spots or new activities together. Like, you are creating a whole new relationship with that person.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Getting
I've
out
never
of your
heard that,
routine. Yeah, I've never heard that either.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
That's
just going
good.
to a different place, going to a different restaurant. Because you really are, it's a different relationship now.
Yep.
And I like that about chapters in your relationship. Because I was telling you, I think on our first episode, like, yeah, like, you love him and whatever, but then as life goes on, like, you have a deeper love. Like, now I see, like, my boyfriend with our puppy, and, like, it's such a deeper, seeing them together, my love is so different, like, and it's deeper. And I feel like that's really, like, there's chapters. There's chapters in your relationship, and that one is now closed, and you have to move on. And then that's such a good piece of advice, to, like, go and do different things, different activities, different restaurants even. I like that.
I do like
Thanks.
that.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
It
that
wasn't
is a
from
good
me. If I feel like your guys' listeners will like Esther Perel. I don't know if you guys know her.
No.
She is amazing. She studies relationships and infidelity, and she has books and resources and podcasts, which is a lot of articles on infidelity.
Okay.
So I would definitely suggest if people were interested in
And I
that.
feel like you could use that even, like, not if there's any cheating involved, but
Right.
just, like, to do something different
to
and
keep
just to
things
spark
straight.
things up and to be like, all right, let's enter let's do some different things. Let's start to do new things.
Well, I don't know why because obviously I'm in a newer relationship, so I don't know why it's coming up on my Discover page a lot lately, but and we don't live together, so it really doesn't apply to us, but like the roommate stage of a relationship, like videos keep coming up about that. Do you know what that is?
No, what's the roommate stage?
It's like when people like have been together for a while and they become what feels like just roommates.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, obviously that's not where I'm at, so why is this coming up? This is not relevant for me. Like, Nick's gonna be like, what was that? What were you trying to say? But I feel like that would be something like good for someone in a roommate stage.
I 100% agree.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's like sad to think about that you come home and it's just another like walk past each other, go to your room, do what you want to do for the night. Exactly.
Sometimes that's nice though.
Yeah.
No, totally. But not when it
nice.
becomes like you don't
Every
want
day. Yeah,
that
sure.
sucks.
If there's no spark there and you're
Right.
then totally.
Yeah.
But that sometimes it definitely is nice to just like I don't have to entertain you. Like I'm gonna come home and I just want to lay in bed and read.
Yeah.
And I want to just like relax and chill, or I just want to lay in bed and scroll on my phone.
Yeah.
And like you're over there, and I know you're over there.
Like,
That's
don't
great
talk
that
to
you're
me.
over there. Stay over there.
No, personal space is definitely we value that.
We
always
really
joke
value
about that.
personal space.
Nick's busy tonight. Oh shucks.
Oh man. All right. No, you know what? I'll see you later.
Yeah.
What did you say to me the other day?
That he was like, I don't know, hitting me with what time he was going to be over and this and that, and I was like, I'll see you for dinner.
Yeah,
I'll see you after dinner.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's
That's
fine.
amazing.
We don't have to do like run all these errands together. I'll just see you tonight. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling shitty. You don't want to be around me right now anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like we should dive into like do's and don'ts. Because I think that this is like, this is something that like my friends and I won't even name them, have talk about a lot. Like, for instance, going through someone's phone.
Okay.
What is your take on
Liana?
My husband's gonna laugh at me. I look at his phone, but I'm genuinely curious because his conversations are ridiculous. Because they're about like fucking Pokemon and shit. But like, I don't think that's a great idea. No. I think it violates trust. I think that why are you looking at their phone?
Yeah.
Like, what's the intention? And it's something I've been seeing a lot with younger clients. It's newer, obviously, with like having each other's location. I have Chris's location, but like,
I'm so happy you just said
that was my next one. So
okay, all right,
good. Yeah.
But because I've seen what it turns into, right? Like, it turns into, if let's say we recognize this relationship isn't healthy, and then the person says, but like, how do I just undo the location? Like, he's gonna know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm like,
right.
Of course he's gonna know, but like, who cares? They're looking through each other's phone. A lot of it is the why and where's that coming up? Like, meaning if you trust him or her and they didn't do anything to break your trust, but then what's going on within you that you need that for validation and security,
right,
or control,
right? Mm-hmm. The why is very important.
Yes.
Well, we were talking about location sharing the other day. And my feeling on it is that I just don't think it ever leads anywhere good. Because because it's like, if you don't have something in front of you, you don't think about it. But when you have it,
yes,
just because you have it, you're going to check it. Even though you may say like, oh, I know where they are all the time and there's no secrets and whatever. And you may have a really trusting relationship and there are no secrets and you do know everything, but just because you have the location accessible to you, you will look at it, and that just creates an insecurity relationship wise that wasn't there before, and you're creating it now in your relationship when it doesn't need to be there, because you're going to check in on it, because you're going to look for it. And then, and I know you get petty. And if you decide to be feisty one night and go, I'm turning off my location, then what does that do going forward to your relationship?
I'll give you that one, but I'm going to circle back to what you just said prior. My boyfriend and I share our locations with each other, and I genuinely do forget about it because I don't think to check it, mostly because I know exactly his schedule does not change. Sunday to the next Monday, it's just the same thing. Like Monday through Friday, he's at the office. Whole weekend, we're usually together.
Right.
Yeah, and if we're not, I know exactly where he is and when I will see him. But the only time, I genuinely forget that I have it because I'm like, I don't need to check it. I do know exactly where he is all the time. But if the only time I will check it is if like I know he's coming over. He was like running to a store first or whatever, picking up our food. And I'm like, I'm starving. Usually it's literally food related. Is he on his way here
So
yet?
you
And
look
I'll
at
check.
him like your Uber Eats driver.
Yeah,
Check
exactly.
there. How close is he to my
Only
to
time
my house with my food?
I ever check it. Yesterday
Right.
he was bringing me over chicken noodle soup from Uncle Giuseppe. It's my favorite. So I'm
Right.
like, is he almost here?
Right,
And I
right.
checked it. But
No,
that's
I totally
the
get
only
that.
time. In the past with other people, I would have been, I would have never had it because they would have
Yeah.
never wanted me to know where they were.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, now it's just like, it's honestly a convenience thing. It's like
Yeah.
for when he has to pick me up, if I have to pick him up
Yeah.
from somewhere, we're at, like, it's really more of that.
Yeah. I just know sometimes there are like I had gotten my boyfriend this like painting of himself once. This is a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but this painting
like,
of himself. Yeah. I had to go get it framed. And this was like kind of during like COVID times or whatever. And I had to go like into this like deep in like Hempstead or something like that. It was like a weird location, but it was the only frame shop that was like open.
Yeah.
Things like that. If I'm like trying to
Right.
surprise you or like do something for you or like be sneaky because it's genuinely in a good way for a good
Right.
purpose. If you have my location and you check it, and now you're gonna blow the surprise. If anything,
Yeah,
it's not you're not
yeah.
gonna trust me, but you're gonna ruin the surprise for yourself.
That's fair.
But I guess
Yeah.
if you're in and if you don't check it and you really just have it because of those specific things to like
If he knows,
pick somebody up
or
or
letting the dog out, sometimes like I want to know, did he get to my house, or vice versa, like is she letting
Yeah.
Zeus out right now?
Yeah.
You check it for like that, but
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
I just feel like
Sarah's not a fan.
I'm not a
She's
fan
not a
of it.
fan
I'm
of the
just not a fan.
location.
I'm just not a fan of it. I just think,
I don't
like I
blame
said,
you.
it breeds just an insecurity that maybe wasn't there before. And then like when you do check it and like people, sometimes, he's going to get your soup, but like maybe he's making a stop somewhere else first or he's doing something else. So now you're checking and you're like, well, where is he?
Yeah.
And what is he doing? And why are you over there? You said you were. Where's my soup, damn
Oh,
it?
he
Like-
knows better.
no pit
He's like,
stops
No
when
pit
you have my
stops
soup.
at
Straight
all,
there with
no,
the soup.
yeah.
I guess it's really just couple dependent.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I could absolutely share it and it not cause or any kind of problems. We just don't. But he also is a Droid person. I'm an iPhone person, so there's
Oh.
not like
Yeah.
I don't know that it's that easy to share locations
I don't
between
know.
those two. Like it's not as easy as it is iPhone wise.
Yeah.
It's so like simple to do, but it's just not something we've never done. And I've just heard some horror stories
Yeah.
about couples who
Yes.
start to share their locations, and then everything just goes to shit because
Yeah.
they're like,
Well, then it also makes me question, what was that relationship foundation built on? You know
Right,
what
so
I mean?
it's couple
Like,
dependent.
It is,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're a petty relationship to begin with, location might not work out, but I use it for the same reason where I'm like,
Yeah.
how much time before he comes home and how much time do I have alone
Yeah.
before he comes home?
before he shows up. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. Totally fair.
That is.
But going back to your why, 'cause I have a relationship question about my relationship. And what you said about the why is part of it. So we don't fight really ever. We fight like a normal couple as much as a normal couple fights, but our issue when we fight is the way that we fight. So like I'm a person who wants to know the why. So I like to take a couple days or take like a minute to like process things and find, because I know that most of the time what I'm actually angry at, like the initial thing, isn't really what the underlying issue is. And I like to find out my why. Why did that trigger me? Why did that set me off? And I like to find out that first so that when we come together, we can have more of a productive conversation. He likes to sort it out right away. He does not like when we're not in a good place. He likes to talk about it right away. So how do we bridge that gap of me being able to take my time and for him to be able to, understandably, he doesn't want to be in a fight,
Right. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Right.
Especially because you live together.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's the worst.
Yeah, you have to walk.
I mean,
around.
I'm also a Scorpio, so I thrive on the uncomfortableness, and I like to sit and fester in it.
so
and
do
just
I.
get
I like go to the
angry.
room and I'm just like, I'm not talking to him.
I like to be angry.
Yeah. So I feel like most of the time men, again, like so heteronormative, but like men do like to get to the solution quicker than women do. Women,
Okay.
we like definitely like to process and reflect, but it makes me question what was his, I'm getting like deep, what was his life growing up in regards to conflict resolution? Because a lot of times, if let's say he comes from a family that it was very like, let's talk it out right here, let's talk about, what's going on, what's with you, like whatever it is. And let's say for you and your family, maybe it was something more or less like everyone had space. Everyone took some time
Okay.
apart, and then maybe at a later time came to one another and said, okay, Let's talk about it.
Right.
So then we have two partners that come together from these two different backgrounds, and it's like, okay, how do we now mold them together? I'm curious about how long does it take for you to process and reflect?
Too long.
Karen would be listening like way too long.
It'll be like, way too long.
It's like we're still going on one.
Well, I mean, it depends on what it is, but I take a little bit of time. I take like maybe a couple days, but in my defense, our schedules are also kind of all over the place and different. So like for me, I'll go to work all day.
Yeah.
It's an all day shift though. So like I leave at 10 or whatever and I come back at, 9 something and he comes back from work at 11, 12 and I'm already asleep. So like I can let it go on for days because I don't have to really see him. But just the uncomfortableness in the air definitely bothers him. And
Right.
like he wants to. I could take shorter amounts of time.
Okay.
I can say that I can do that.
Okay.
I take maybe too much time.
Okay. And again, like that, that whole cliche of like, don't go to bed angry.
Yes.
That I think is all BS.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. That
Okay.
a lot of people have been saying that lately. And I do agree with it because it's like, we need that time, a lot of us. So I like what you said about let's come together and find a compromise where maybe it's not immediate because we want to have the time to process and
Right.
reflect, but maybe I'm not spending days and days when we're both going through work. So instead of
Right.
2 days or I don't know how many, 2 days, maybe it's a day. And you're also allowed that time to reflect afterwards. So if let's say you share with him, hey, you know what? I'm saying what comes to mind now, but I feel like I'm going to still think about this and kind of reflect for my own self. So if I bring it up again, it's not that I'm initiating the conflict. I'm just recognizing more about the conflict and myself that I want to share.
Okay. So that's a good point. So then you could realistically be like, all right, I love you. I don't want to fight with you. Let's go about our day. But I am going to take some time. And I don't want to talk about this right now. But like we will get back to it. But yes, like go have a good day. We are okay. You and I are good. But,
Have
we'll
like a time
revisit.
frame.
We'll revisit that. Right. So he could go about his day and feel like, okay, like we're good. And not wonder like what I'm thinking or possibly doing because I'm nuts. But you know what I mean? But like he could be like, okay, we're good. And I could be like, all right, but I am going to still take my time. And then we could meet somewhere in the middle. Okay. Maybe I'll try that.
And I would set a day on it where it's like tonight after dinner or
Yeah.
tonight before we go to bed or tomorrow during the day so that we both know when we're going to come back and it's easy to let things go. So,
It's so easy to let
having that
things go.
deadline.
Right. Okay.
I
That was
like
good.
that.
Thanks.
I like that
I
too.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna like that too.
He's
He's
gonna
gonna
be like,
be like,
"Yes."
"See, I got one. I got one."
Yeah, that's good. We're okay, but
We're okay.
give me a
I
sec.
love you. Go, but
Yeah.
also don't fucking talk to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Also, leave me alone for 24 hours.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the whole? Because we were talking about
Oh,
this
yeah.
before we went on. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
Adam Levine.
The Adam Levine stuff going on. Because we had scheduled this podcast before, I think, you to come on before all this happened. And then I was saying to Natalie before we went on, like, everyone is talking about it now. And I feel like it opens up so many doors to, like, what's cheating, what's not, what,
That
you know,
is
these
cheating.
girls.
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that whole debacle?
Oh, it's crazy. Oh my God, it's cheating. I mean, I would deem it
Yes.
as cheating.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's obvious that it's happening to more than one girl in person. And I don't know. I didn't really see if she made the wife made a statement.
I think she was she pregnant when all this came out?
Yeah, she's
Yes.
like very pregnant.
She still is, she hasn't had the baby yet. She's still
No.
very pregnant. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough situation to be in for her. I could
Yeah.
imagine. You have like these kids and this life. I mean, yeah, that's 100% cheating. And I think his apology was a little, I don't know, very passive. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to get through this together. Like, bro,
Right.
like this is for you to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw someone write that and I was like, yeah, and it goes hand in hand with what you were saying. Like, yeah, it sucks because it should be his issue to fucking deal with. But like, of course, now she needs to work on healing so much too. So it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, totally. And that sucks too, because you think of being pregnant supposed to be like such a
Right.
vulnerable. It's a vulnerable time already in your
Yeah.
life, and then to have that happen. I do also think though, and this is not me defending him in any kind of a way, but I think it's very shitty how it all comes out, and I don't love the whole like, you know, like yes, this happened to you, and like yes, you had an affair with him or whatever, but like don't tell me like you didn't know, like you knew he was married. And then if this is really something happening, like talk to his wife, find a way to get in touch with his wife and talk to her about it. But to just go on social media and blast it to the world, like you're causing more damage to his wife than you've already done.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think it needed so necessary to everyone's clout chasing and stuff like that. But like
for sure.
it just didn't need to go down that way.
No, I agree totally. It's like imagine being just so embarrassed in front of everyone.
So
while you're
embarrassed.
pregnant.
And while you're pregnant.
It's like
Terrible.
oh god.
Yeah.
And you know what really irked me was like how in his messages you could tell he like had definitely a form of like, I don't know, he didn't care. Like he wasn't even trying to be sly.
Yeah, he was so like blunt with everything.
So blunt. Let's talk about another infamous serial cheater.
I think I probably know.
Tristan Thompson.
Yes. I'm so glad you guys brought it up.
I mean, honestly though, I hate what I'm about to say, but I have to just say it. How many fucking chances are you gonna give the guy to just prove to you time after time that he's just a piece of shit and leave him there? And you look freaking better than ever. Not that that matters, but seriously, move on.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like,
What are your thoughts on that whole Liana?
I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Like, who's surprised in this? No one. And I think it comes from her own place of like insecurity, like deep rooted insecurity, because she chooses these men that probably raise a lot of red flags. And it kind of makes me question of like, I mean, we know, I think I read a lot about like her own past with like being body shamed and then like her dad passing, right? So like all these things in her life, and then Lamar, right? So I think it's just like, it was bound to happen. Like she chooses these partners that she thinks she deserves.
Okay. Right.
And I hope it stays that she just doesn't see him anymore.
You sometimes don't realize you're even doing that though, right? When
No.
you choose people who you think that you deserve.
Oh,
when
no,
you
you
really-
definitely don't realize that. I think it takes, I remember when I went to therapy at one point and he said to me, well, you're saying why am I attracting all these guys who are assholes? But like the way you feel about yourself is being projected onto the guys that you're choosing. So if like for Chloe, for instance, if she's not feeling so great about herself inside, she's probably not going to say, oh, Tristan, I deserve better.
Yeah. Right. And that's another one too with the whole pregnancy thing. Like, especially like with your first one too, like when I envision myself as a pregnant lady, I envision like a really stylish, fun, glowing, happy pregnant lady.
Yeah.
And then to have that like thrown on you like that has to be so like heartbreaking in ways that go just even beyond yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she said it best, and she said like this is supposed to be such like a joyous time, and
But when is enough enough?
right.
When is it like, I don't know, when does it go from being like, I'm going to be strong for myself and my family and keep this family together and work through it, to like saying you have to cut the cord? Like, when does that happen? When it like starts to really affect yourself and your mental health?
Yeah, and I think like, you know when people say, oh, we're staying together for the kids? Like, staying together is going to damage the kids.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So like if it's taking more like a toll on your emotional health to stay with this person, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think Chloe like fought enough.
Right.
And like the
Right.
fight is over. And I think you
Right.
gotta know that you deserve to walk away.
The fight is over.
Fight is over.
That's a good way to put it. The fight is over.
Yeah.
I want to ask you as we wrap it up, give me like initial red flags that you should take a mental note of when you start to see somebody.
Oh, this is good. So I have a friend going through a recent divorce.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So big one is love bombing, meaning like
talked about
they're
that,
very, you guys know, like very intense, and it's different from like someone being interested in you and just whatever. Like if you get a little like, ooh, this is a little strong, like pay attention to that.
Red flag.
Red flag. If they aren't listening to you and validating your feelings, right? If you're sharing how you feel, and I feel like that can be the biggest test of a person in a relationship. If you say, hey, I felt blank when you did blank or when that happened, if you get a response like, well, you shouldn't feel that way, or you got it all wrong, or like, even if that person didn't mean it like that, we can still understand why I might have felt that way.
Right.
So I would say any form of that where they're not validating your feelings. And I would also say if they, I don't know, like I feel like there can be a whole thing when it comes to like chivalry, but like if let's say they're picking you up starting out, or they're treating you really great in the beginning and then you see like a decline, and like not the normal decline where regular life happens, but like they're maybe not even like treating you that great, or they're kind of putting you down, that's a red flag. And I would say also if you feel a sense of control, or they're pulling you away from your friends or family, or putting your friends and family down, that's another big red flag.
So they're trying to isolate you.
Yes.
And then that's like, you could get seriously brainwashed when you don't have anybody around you to bounce anything
Yeah.
off of.
Yeah.
And
that's their point. That's what they want.
Right. But as long as you don't have anybody, then you can't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you find yourself questioning your own sanity, right? If you're like, wait, like maybe he didn't mean it in that way, or like you're justifying their behavior, it's like your gut is telling you something.
Yeah.
Pay attention to it.
Huh. All right.
All right.
That was good.
A lot of my single friends are going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
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 Right.
This is a good one.
This was a good one.
We like to end our episodes, though, with our wets and our dries. What's making us wet this week? What's making us dry this week? Natalie, do you have anything off the top of your head?
Yeah. I will say definitely what made me dry this week is that I was fighting this terrible cold that I know a lot of people haven't been feeling well. So
Right.
I've been upping my elderberry and vitamin C doses every day. So that sucked. I feel like making me wet. We have close friends of ours getting married this weekend, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, fun.
Nick was also not feeling great this weekend, so we had like a nice lazy weekend in, and it's just been like a very like love-filled time.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
I
so
love that for you.
Yeah, so it's been a nice, like, even though I said to him this morning, like, just thinking about this weekend, like, we had so much fun, and we were stuck inside, so it was like,
Just alone.
yeah, just fun, you know, it was just like a cutesy weekend.
That's good.
So yeah, that's it. Nothing crazy.
All right. Liana, anything making you wet or dry this week?
Yes. So I would say as much as I love fall, I do love it. I feel like right now it's cold and annoying. So
Yes.
that's making me dry.
I would agree with that 100%.
And what's making me wet is probably, I feel really good. I went to Italy for 2 weeks and I feel
Yes.
really good coming back.
Oh, good.
Like genuinely ready. And I was saying that to my clients and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm not like just telling you that. Like I actually feel very good. So I haven't felt like that for a long time.
Like rejuvenated, focused, recharged.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
ready to do like the thing, you know?
That's how you need to come back from a vacation. Because it's so easy to get like the vacation like blues when you come
Yes.
home. But if you come home feeling like ready, I feel like that says a lot about your life. That like you're coming home to a life that you've created and really love and are like excited to come home to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's good. I like that.
I love that. That's great.
Well, what's making me wet this week? I think first was the response we got from our first episode. By the time this airs, our first one had been just aired, and the response I think we got from it seemed like people were really excited about it, and we're excited to be back. So,
Yes.
and of course, now having our first guest on, we missed the guest episodes.
Yeah.
They're always so different and so fun. And the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are back, so
Yes.
that's definitely making me wet this week for sure. And then dry, I would have to agree with you, Liana, the weather. I do love some fall weather, and I'm excited for the sweaters and stuff like that. But especially this rain and this, it's just not
Dreary.
Not the vibe.
doing it for me.
No.
It's cold as I'm in shorts.
As
I
you're
was
in
sweating
shorts.
when I was getting ready. My house is very hot. My house still feels like August.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Liana, thank you so much
Yes,
for joining
thank
us.
Thank you guys for
So
having me.
Please come
This
back.
was
This was so much fun.
Of
So
course.
great. Yes, I could have really used your help last season.
Oh, yeah. You really could have. Oh, all right.
But
We'll keep her number on speed
Yeah,
dial
yeah.
just in case.
Hit me up.
yes.
Well, thank you again, and
Yes,
we
course.
will
Thank you. We'll
see
see
you
you
next
guys
week.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.